Assalamu alaikum. This is Pratyusha Burwal welcoming you to the English news from Btv Chattogram. Let's begin with the top stories. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman stresses on merit-based promotion in army rising above personal preferences or political considerations. President Hafizuddin Ahmed pays rich tributes to Liberation War martyrs at National Memorial. International Crimes Tribunal issues arrest warrants against 11 persons including Sheikh Hasina in connection with Ikramul's murder in Cox's Bazar. Recent past president entitled to benefits and privileges provided by legal framework, informs Home Minister. Law Minister calls for working together to establish accountable state system, rule of law. Government aims to generate revenue rather than incur expenses from broadcasting next FIFA World Cup, says Information and Broadcasting Minister. Crash between two passenger buses in central eastern desert region of Syria kills 35, injures 30 others. And West Indies resumes second day of batting against Pakistan in first test of two-match series in Trinidad. Viewers, those were the top stories. Now moving on to the details. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman stressed the need for merit-based promotion in the Bangladesh Army, rising above personal preferences or political considerations to build a modern and professional force. He also said, in order to build a modern and professional army, the highest importance should be given to merit, professional competence, integrity, moral character, leadership qualities, and discipline in promotions, rising above personal liking and disliking or political considerations. The Prime Minister put the emphasis at the inaugural ceremony of the Army Headquarters Selection Board 2026 at the Dhaka Cantonment today. Lauding the role of the Bangladesh Army in safeguarding the country's independence and sovereignty, the Prime Minister said, alongside national security, the Army has been making significant contributions to maintaining internal law and order, disaster response, and providing assistance to the civil administration. Tariq Rahman thanked the Chief of Army Staff and all members of the force for their contributions to this end. The Army Chief expressed gratitude to the Prime Minister for attending the ceremony and inaugurating the selection board. Prime Minister's Defence Advisor Brigadier General retired Dr. A.K.M. Shamsul Islam, along with senior military officials, was present at the program. After the ceremony, the Prime Minister joined a photo session with Army officers and wrote his remark in the Army Visitors Book. Earlier in the morning, the Chief of Army Staff and the Chief of General Staff welcomed the Prime Minister upon his arrival at the Army headquarters. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman assured tea estate owners of the government's policy, financial and institutional support to help revive and expand Bangladesh's tea industry, directing the formation of a committee to identify the sector's problems and recommend effective solutions. The assurance came at a meeting on the development of the country's tea industry held at the Prime Minister's office in the Bangladesh Secretariat in the capital today. Owners of tea estates and representatives of the sector briefed the Prime Minister on the industry's current situation, highlighting rising production costs, financing constraints, higher energy costs, and the challenge of remaining competitive in the international market. They also placed a number of proposals aimed at ensuring the sustainable development of the industry. Tariq Rahman watched their representations and described the tea industry as an important sector of the national economy. He said, the government will provide the necessary policy, financial and institutional support to help the industry grow. The Prime Minister also assured tea state owners that the government will consider easing their existing loan liabilities and facilitating low-interest loans for the sector. He further said the government will positively consider allowing solar power generation on tea garden land unsuitable for cultivation and provide the necessary financial support for implementing such renewable energy projects. Tariq Rahman directed the formation of a committee comprising representatives from the relevant ministries, divisions and organizations associated with the tea industry to identify the sector's existing problems and recommend effective solutions. Power, Energy and Mineral Resources Minister Iqbal Hassan Mahmood, Land Minister Mizanur Rahman Minu, Commerce and Industries Minister Khandukar Abdul Muqtadir, State Minister for Land Mir Muhammad Hilal Uddin, Prime Minister's Principal Secretary ABM Abdul Sattar, secretaries of the relevant ministries and the representatives of tea estate owners and industry bodies attended the meeting. President Hafiz-Uddin Ahmed Bir Bikram paid rich tributes to the martyrs of the War of Liberation by placing wreaths at the National Memorial in Savar today. After placing wreaths, the president stood in solemn silence for some time as a mark of respect to the memories of the martyrs of the Great War of Liberation in 1971. A smartly turned-out contingent drawn from the three services presented a state salute when bugles played the last post. The president also signed the Visitors Book. State Minister for Liberation War Affairs Ishraq Hussain and high military and civil officials were present on the occasion. Later, President Hafiz-Uddin Ahmed went to the Zia Uddan and paid rich tributes to martyr President Ziaur Rahman and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia by placing wreaths at their graves in the capital. After placing the wreath, he stood in solemn silence for some time. Special prayers were offered seeking eternal peace of departed souls of Shohid President Ziaur Rahman and former Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia. The prosecution of the International Crimes Tribunal ICT today filed formal charges in crimes against humanity case against 11 people, including ousted Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina over the killing of Teknaf Ward Councillor Ikramul Haq. The prosecution submitted the formal charges to the office of the ICT Registrar today. Confirming the appointment of the journalist, Chief Prosecutor Muhammad Aminul Islam said, ICT too has taken the formal charges into cognizance. The other prominent accused in the case are Ubaidul Qadir Asaduzaman Khan Komul, Abdul Rahman Bodi and Benazir Ahmed. Ikramul Haq, former councillor of Ward 3 of the Teknaf municipality, was killed in a so-called gunfight with RAP 7 on May 26 of 2018. The Ministry of Home Affairs has honored 9 police officers in recognition of their bravery and commendable service. The awards were presented by Home Minister Salahuddin Ahmed at a ceremony held in the conference room of the Ministry of Home Affairs at the Secretariat in the capital today. Presenting the awards, the minister said that the cash prizes and certificates of recognition would serve as a lifetime acknowledgement of the recipients' outstanding contributions. He also stated that the government's initiative to recognize and reward exemplary service would continue. Responding to queries from journalists about the recently former president following the ceremony, the Home Minister said that under the law, a former president is entitled to all benefits and privileges provided by the existing legal framework. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Advocate Muhammad Asaduzzaman said, the judiciary, legal professionals and state institutions must collaborate to uphold the rule of law and create a system of accountability. The minister said this while speaking as the chief guest at the opening of a training workshop for newly admitted lawyers at the Chattogram District Bar Association Auditorium today. A total of 1,054 newly enrolled lawyers took part in this workshop organized by the Chattogram District Bar Association. The law minister encouraged the new generation of lawyers to adopt a resolute approach against corruption, urging them to utilize their talents, integrity and professional abilities to promote justice. Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Muhammad Khadimul Qais, District and Sessions Judge Qazi Abdul Hannan, Metropolitan Sessions Judge Muhammad Hassanul Islam, Chief Metropolitan Magistrate AGM Munirul Hassan Sharkar, President of Chittagong District Bar Association Tariq Ahmed, and General Secretary Muhammad Moinuddin also spoke at the workshop. The speakers urged the young lawyers to serve the public, uphold justice, and maintain professional integrity without pursuing wealth. Information and Broadcasting Minister Johir Uddin Shapun said, the government is aiming to generate revenue rather than incur expenses from broadcasting the next FIFA World Cup. He made the remarks today at a ceremony held at the Media Center of the Secretariat. The event, organized by the Ministry of Youth and Sports, was held to express gratitude for the successful broadcast of the World Cup. On behalf of the people of Bangladesh, State Minister for Youth and Sports Aminul Haq presented letters of appreciation to Bangladesh Television and officials of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for their role in the World Cup telecast. Chief Information Officer Syed Abdul Ahmed and Additional Secretary of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting Shah Alam were present in the program. Speaking on the occasion, Aminul Haq said, the successful nationwide broadcast of the World Cup was made possible through the collective efforts of all concerned. He added that, under the proper guidance of Prime Minister Tariq Rahman, the government was able to ensure that people across the country could watch the tournament through a transparent and corruption-free broadcasting process. Highlighting the government's initiatives to promote sports, the State Minister said, efforts are underway to professionalize the country's sporting sector. He also announced that online registration has begun for the next phase of the Notun Kure sports program. In addition, he outlined the government's plan to construct one sports field on approximately 8 acres of land in every union across the country. Now, international news. A crash between two passenger buses in a central eastern desert region of Syria killed at least 35 people. A Syrian health ministry official said 30 others were injured in the collision between two passenger buses on the Damascus Deir ez-Zor road on Saturday. The Interior Ministry said The crash was between a bus carrying a number of internal security forces personnel and a civilian bus without specifying how many of the casualties were from its forces. Emergency and Disaster Management Minister Raed Al Saleh described the crash as one of the deadliest road accidents in Syria in recent years in terms of the number of victims. 12 people, including 5 children, were killed in a drone attack on a holiday camp in Russian-held part of Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. Russian-installed local authorities confirmed the incident on Saturday, accusing Ukraine of deliberately attacking civilians. Meanwhile, Mayor Vitaly Klitschko of the Ukrainian capital Kyiv said the city came under attack from Russian forces early on Sunday while falling debris, triggering fires in at least 3 districts. Ukraine's Air Force said Russian forces had targeted the capital with ballistic missiles. An alert was lifted after about 50 minutes, and the Air Force rescinded its warning of missile deployment. Klitschko said one blaze had broken out on the 7th and 8th floors of the multi-story apartment block in a central district with no immediate reports of casualties. Unchecked wildfires raging Saturday in France's southwest and near Spain's capital Madrid have forced nearly 260,000 people to flee and prompted Paris to deploy its military. France initially hustled 197,000 people from areas around popular vacation spot Bordeaux. 3,000 were later allotted to return. In Spain, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the priority was to save lives as he visited the fire zone where 60,000 people were evacuated from villages west of Madrid. A separate wildfire near the eastern Spanish city of Valencia killed one person before firefighters brought it under control. Overstretched firefighters in Spain and France battling around the clock for days have been unable to contain the infernos, which also claimed the lives of 2 French firefighters near Bordeaux earlier this week. Earlier on Saturday, authorities on both countries suggested the intensity of some of the blazes has lessened. The forecasts in France are turning unfavorable again, Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu warned in a post on X Saturday evening, adding that coming hours could be difficult. Scientists said global warming is increasing droughts and causing weather emergencies to become more extreme and more frequent. Europe is the fastest warming continent due to climate change. Back to national news. A tree plantation program has been inaugurated in Feni district under initiative of Bangladesh Jaতীয়তাবাদী Krishak Dal as part of Prime Minister Tareq Rahman's pledge to plant 25 crore trees in 5 years to protect the environment and strengthen climate resilience in Shonagaji of Feni. Environment, Forest and Climate Change Minister Abdul Awal Minto MP inaugurated the tree plantation program as the chief guest at the Shonagaji Municipal Auditorium today. Organized by Feni District Krishak Dal, the event was presided over by the organization's President Joshim Uddin Chairman and moderated by General Secretary Shamsuddin Khokon Chairman. District BNP Convener Sheikh Farid Bahar, Member Secretary Alal Uddin Alal, Shonagaji Upazila BNP Convener Jarnal Abdin Bablu, Member Secretary Soed Alam Bhuiya, Municipal BNP Convener Munjur Hussain Babur and Member Secretary Nizam Uddin, Upazila Juba Dal Convener Khurshid Alam Bhuiya, Mohila Dal Leader Janatul Firdaus Mita, former Chairman Abul Kalam Azad, Krishak Dal leaders Noor Korim and Sheikh Anwar, among others, addressed the event. District and Upazila leaders of BNP and its affiliated organizations were present on the occasion. Now, sports news. Cricket. West Indies resumes batting against Pakistan tonight as West Indies looks to convert their solid start into a massive first innings total. Kevin Hodges' unbeaten 83 and a solid partnership with Shai Hope guided West Indies to a strong position of 194 for 3 at stumps on a run-affected opening day of the first test in Trinidad. After West Indies captain Roston Chase won the toss and elected to bat first, the home team faced early pressure from Pakistan's disciplined bowling attack on a moisture-laden pitch. Fast bowler Mohammad Abbas made an early breakthrough by dismissing Brandon King for 12, leaving the host at a shaky 13 for 1 before heavy rain forced an early lunch. The second session saw partial recovery, though Tajurin Chandapol and Amir Jangu both fell after getting starts. With the team in a spot of bother at 106 for 3, Kavem Hodge took control of the innings. Facing a challenging post-rain track, Hodge played with immense patience to bring up his fourth test half-century of 86 balls. Joined by Shai Hope, the duo looked down the final session. They put together an unbroken 88-run partnership for the fourth wicket before the bad weather and fading light forced the umpires to call an early end to the day's play after just 67 overs.